Welcome to The Explainer. I am so incredibly pumped to dive into today's topic with you, because I recently came across something that just fundamentally shifts how we think about earning a living. Today we're exploring 9 highly viable, frankly, entirely unglamorous business models that are designed to build real financial independence. We're talking about front-loading your work so the system earns on its own schedule, not yours. We've got a ton of fascinating ground to cover, so let's just jump right in.
Okay, I want you to picture this. It's last Tuesday night, right around 9:47 p.m. There's this guy named Cole in Jacksonville, Florida. He's chilling on his couch, 3 episodes deep into a show he's definitely already watched twice. But at that exact same moment, 11 miles away, a family at a gas station is feeding dollar bills into a machine that Cole owns. By the time Cole finished his episode and casually checked his phone, exactly $74 had come in since dinner. Nobody called him, nobody emailed him. The machine just sat there, doing its job.
So the whole crucial point here is this. The businesses we're looking at today genuinely generate revenue while the owner is doing something else entirely. Whether you're watching TV, catching up on sleep, sitting in gridlock traffic, or taking your kids to soccer practice, the income simply doesn't care about your schedule. Separating your time from your earning capacity is literally the single most powerful financial concept we are going to unpack today.
All right, let's dive straight into category number 1, automated vending and machines.
Let's compare 2 totally different machines. On one hand, you have ice vending. Now, the startup cost is definitely heavier here. You're looking at maybe $25,000 to $50,000 for a turnkey setup, and the demand spikes massively in the summer. But that monthly net profit, it's a solid $500 to $3,500. On the flip side, look at arcade machines or photo booths. You can set up a claw machine for as little as $1,500. The monthly net is smaller per machine, around $200 to $1,200, but the peak demand is super predictable. We're talking Friday and Saturday nights when people are out having fun. You aren't working those nights, but the machine definitely is. Now, what's really wild about ice vending is the margin. You are looking at a gross margin north of 85%. Why? Well, because your primary raw material is literally just water. It costs roughly 15 to 25 cents to produce a 20-pound bag of ice, which you then turn around and sell for up to $3. You're essentially turning a basic public utility into a premium retail product without ever even being in the room.
Moving right along, let's get into our second category, the business of space.
Think about a simple fenced-in gravel lot with a keypad gate. Sounds incredibly boring, right? But it is actually the ultimate unglamorous cash cow. Get this, there are 11.2 million registered RVs in the United States right now, and most homeowners associations have incredibly strict bans prohibiting people from parking those RVs in their driveways. So where do they all go? To your gravel lot. You're looking at 70 to 85% margins here because there are no buildings to maintain, no plumbing to fix, and no heating bills to pay. It's just ground, gravel, and a security camera.
And we can see how this space concept scales up when we look to the sky at billboards. Traditional, static wooden billboards, you can actually start one for under 10 grand. You lease a tiny patch of highway land for maybe a few $100, and it generates steady monthly revenue. But digital billboards, man, they are a totally different game. They require huge capital up front, anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000. But look at the revenue multiplier. Because a digital board can rotate up to 8 advertisers simultaneously, your revenue potential skyrockets to up to $20,000 a month. The sign just sits there in the pouring rain at 2 a.m. printing money.
All right, let's shift gears to category number 3, equipment and trailer leasing.
You really don't have to be some massive rental corporation to get in on this. Every day, independent operators are quietly making a fortune renting out enclosed cargo trailers, bounce houses for kids' parties, mini excavators, or honestly, even basic tables and chairs. The brilliance here is that platforms like Neighbor.com or Facebook Marketplace have made the whole booking process fully automated. People book online, sign a digital waiver, and pick up the asset. It's that easy.
Let's break down the economics here. An enclosed cargo trailer might run you $3,000 to $7,000 to set up, but it yields this insane 70 to 85% profit margin. Why? Because it literally has no engine and doesn't depreciate like a car does. Meanwhile, a mini excavator requires a bigger upfront investment, usually around 15 to 30 grand, but it rents out for $300 to $500 a day. That is a gross potential of up to $10,000 a month from just one single piece of machinery.
All of this perfectly captures a profound concept detailed by author Josh Kaufman. He talks about the income-producing asset. Basically, it's an asset that works harder than you physically can. Think about that mini excavator again. That machine can be rented out to 3 different contractors digging 3 different foundations in a single week. You physically cannot dig 3 foundations in a week, but the machine absolutely can. It multiplies your earning capacity far, far beyond the limits of your own body.
Okay, let's take a leap into the digital realm with our fourth category, digital products and logistics.
Now, we all know online courses are a massive industry, but here's the secret a lot of folks totally miss. The best topics aren't always glamorous. In fact, some of the highest earning courses out there are on incredibly boring practical skills. Stuff like Microsoft Excel shortcuts, SQL database queries, or setting up QuickBooks for small businesses. The demand for these skills is as steady as gravity. It doesn't just fluctuate with whatever internet trend is popping off today. And because the cost of delivering a digital course to one more student is exactly 0, the profit margins hover around 80 to 95%.
Next up in the digital space is Fulfillment by Amazon, or FBA. The way this flywheel works is actually pretty brilliant. First, you source a product in bulk. Next, you ship it to Amazon's warehouses, and from there, Amazon completely takes over. They pack it, they ship it to the customer, they handle all the customer service. Once you get this system spinning, a seller's only real job becomes step 4. A 30-minute replenishment task twice a month just to ensure you don't run out of inventory. The internet never closes, and honestly, neither does this business.
And finally, we arrive at Section 5, the decision to act.
This comparison here is really striking. Consider Trevor. Trevor is a highly paid consultant, pulling in a sweet $15,000 a month. But his income is completely tied to his physical presence. If he gets sick, or, heaven forbid, takes a vacation, the money just stops. He is chained to his desk. Then consider Grace. She owns a fleet of 14 cargo trailers, generating $12,600 a month. So she earns a little less than Trevor, sure, but she manages her entire business from her phone on Sunday evenings. Grace has total freedom from her schedule. Trevor has a high-paying job, but Grace has an independent asset.
And this brilliantly illustrates a point made by business expert Keith Cunningham. He says the best businesses are the ones that generate revenue from assets that don't complain, don't call in sick, and don't need supervision. A gravel RV lot, a claw machine sitting in a bowling alley, a digital course, these assets never ever ask you for a day off. They just relentlessly do their job.
But just knowing all of this isn't quite enough. Financial author Carl Richard delivers this absolute wake-up call perfectly. He says, the biggest obstacle to wealth isn't a lack of knowledge, it's a failure to act on knowledge you already have. You now know that trading hours for dollars has a hard ceiling. You know that systems running without you are the true key to real freedom. The difference between just knowing that and actually doing it, that is what builds wealth.
So, I'm going to leave you with this one final, super vital question. Which path will you choose to separate your income from your presence? Are you going to keep trading your finite time for a paycheck, or will you front-load the work to build a system that runs while you binge your favorite show on a Tuesday night? The choice is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer. I really hope this sparks some incredible ideas for you.